Zach and I, for the last year, have actually, because we are these kindred spirits about changing people's mindset and doing it through story, we decided we need to put this into some type of process or framework. And so for the past year, we have really been working on what we call the data story creative process. We are gonna go through that process, and why don't we do it through story, right? Let's take an example. Let's dissect it down and see if we get to the real components. And just to give you a little bit of insight into what we went through is we really see that there's 3 different levels. And in those levels, we see a planning stage, an analysis stage, and then the story. And what we find a lot, and Zach, I know we talk about this a lot, is we look at this as a mountain. People like to climb up the mountain to analysis and get insights, and then they stop. And they think, because I've created an insight, because I have created a dashboard or a model, I'm done. Now you figure out what I'm trying to convey. And we believe, no, you got to actually come down the mountain. So if you go up the mountain, you got to come back down at some point. And at the bottom is where the story needs to relate back to the audience and compel them to the actual action or solution that you wanted to achieve. And so we've worked on all the finer points of that so that when you start any problem, can you turn it into a story to compel somebody to an action?
What I like about our framework is that we're giving people a roadmap and really a reminder. So, I said people forget about their audience, and all it takes is to remind them of the things that they should be thinking about in the process of exploring data, analyzing it, and ultimately telling a story. So our framework is really, it's a set of guideposts and reminders and steps that you want to be thinking about. Some of them are going to take a lot of time. Some could be very quick. Depends on the project, but giving people that kind of guided way that if they do this process, it's going to be a lot more impactful.
So as the layperson in the room right now, I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that essentially you've built an operational framework for the act of storytelling, specifically from finding things in data and then communicating that to the appropriate person. And this is my addition to it, because that needs to be standardized. Like we need to build our collective knowledge of data as a culture, which is something you brought up in your book as well. And this is a part of it. If everybody has this skill set, like in their personal lives, professional lives, it doesn't really matter. Like everybody should have like an understanding of how this works and how to go into it and how to achieve a good story, like turn data into analogy that's understood